Hello guys again. This is Tabisani from Elvent Academy. We are continuing from where we left yesterday. So we're just gonna follow our slides. In our previous lecture, we looked last at data types, which are in two categories: class types, which are objects of a class, and then primitive types, which are just non-decomposable types like integers, doubles, float. And I gave you this little nice table here of a list of primitive types and their range of values. Without wasting our time today, it's gonna be a bit interesting because we're gonna have kind of a demo that I've devised for you guys. So we're just gonna start by looking into a little bit of some theory, then we're gonna jump inside so that when we are doing practical stuff, I will be having some things and some stuff to just to show you, like this is a variable, this is a statement, this is a data type and stuff like that. So let us jump in. So what are identifiers in a Java program? In a Java program, an identifier is just nothing complicated but just a name. Could be a name of a class, like our calculator name, calculator class name. It could be a variable name. We saw x and y. It could be the name student number. It could be a method name, like the main method's name. Okay. So there are some rules, syntax rules for identifiers. So they can only contain digits 0 to 9. The underscore character is also allowed. First character cannot be a digit. No spaces in identifier names. There is no length limit anyway, so you can name your ID. You can give identifier names that could be that much long. They are also case sensitive. For example, student number cannot be student number that has got a small letter n. For the sake of uniformity, we, especially in the lectures that I'll be providing, we'll just be naming our classes with capital letters. Then other identifiers like method names and variable names, we start with their small letters. I think I showed you guys a convention where the first word is got a small letter when you start, then the second word and the third word and fourth word I got bigger. Just a convention for us to just have some informative and clear stuff. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We also have assignment statements. These we have been seeing them, and it's nothing that is new to us. Int variable is equal to value. Those are assignment statements, and as they are statements in Java, statements are ended by a semicolon, which is this guy. You write a statement, you gotta end them with a semicolon. Okay. The equal sign that you see there is called an assignment operator. Okay, so it assigns a value which is to the right to a variable name that is to the left. Always make sure that before you can use any variable, you have initialized it. Okay, you declare your variable first, int var. Before you use it, which includes assigning a value to it, you need to declare a variable and provide its data type. Okay, so that Java knows that in this variable I am storing integer values. Okay, so don't forget that. Now in Java, I remember we talked about running a program where you have to feed input data, then run your program. The computer processes the data and then gives you an output. In our previous in our very first project. Let me just open that quickly so that we don't waste much of our time. It's in this one. It's a calculated class. Open with Sublime Text, which is my favorite. As you can see, the input we hard coded values x and y, but it's actually possible to actually let the computer prompt values, just like many apps that you are used to do, to say enter the amount of the price of the item you enter, then it does some calculation for you. It's possible to do that, to actually interactively provide input for a program. So in today's lecture, we are going to use the scanner package that gives us a variable, a class object that we shall name keyboard. Then we shall use this object to read data from our keyboard, then assign it to our variables. Once we assign it to our variables, then we can do some calculations with that data and try to make our calculator a more real calculator, like the one that we use in our Windows machine and also on our Mac. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, let us jump in the into coding and do a demo keyboard input calculator. So I'm just gonna close the slides quickly. Our video is 6 minutes. We still have some time, so let me just quickly close this guy and open this program. Okay. So first thing first, we needed to import the scanner package. So to do that, we're gonna say import java.util. So .scanner here. That's not it. So don't worry about all of this. So this is just a package name, and this is a class in a package that we are actually importing. So we are importing this scanner class from the java.util package. Now, since this is a class, we're gonna create a variable. Obviously, this can be of a primitive data type. It's a class type. So we're gonna create a variable of class type scanner that is gonna help us to do some readings from our keyboard. So we're gonna say inside of our main method, we're gonna say scanner the variable name is keyboard is equal to new scanner system. This should be a capital letter there. Okay, now we are going to use the scanner object to read value from our keyboard. So we're just gonna let the user know that we want them to enter these values. So System.out.println enter the first number. Okay. Again, it's a statement that we're printing to the screen for our user here. Then before doing this, it's just good to declare our x and our y. So I'm just going to remove this here and put it somewhere here. Just declare our variables x and y. Just rearranging things here. Then after that, we are going to say x, okay, is equal to variable x is equal to, we are now telling the keyboard object to read from the screen. To do that, we call the method called nextInt. I shall teach you still about the methods and all stuff like that. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Next, we tell our user to enter the second number. on the screen again. I'm gonna say user enter the second number that we shall use to do our calculations here. Sorry guys, I have a code, so I coffee. Now we're gonna assign a value to y from a value that we're gonna read from the keyboard. So keyboard.nextInt, we call this method again. Okay, don't worry about all of these. No working. We are now, instead of assigning hard-coded values for x and y, we're actually reading them from our computer. Okay, so it becomes more like a real application. This becomes like proper input. So from here we've been gathering input for values x and y. Now let us do some processing. Okay, so we shall start by adding. So our calculator, want our calculator to actually add, to subtract, and to multiply. Okay, so and to divide as well. So I'm just gonna say an integer again for our answer. I'm just gonna say, okay, cool, int sum is equal to, I'm gonna store the sum of these values in a variable called sum. So I'm just gonna say x plus y, store the difference in a variable called x minus y. I'm gonna also store the product in a variable called x times y. In Java, the operator for multiplying is the asterisk. Okay, so now we want to get the quotient, which is the division of the two numbers. Remember, in mathematics we cannot divide by 0. If you try to divide by 0, even with your Windows or Mac calculator, you'll be told that your denominator or the divider can't be 0. So we want to take care of that. So we're gonna say we're gonna say, what are we gonna say? We're gonna have to check y if y is not equal to 0. Okay, so we're gonna say if y is not equal to 0. That is how we test. We're gonna learn about ifs and else statements at a later stage, but for now, that is how you do it. Okay, and if block, you put again those braces. You're gonna say if y is not equal to 0, then we know that we can divide. We're going to say we're going to say int quotient is equal to x divided by y. Okay, and then else, tell the user that look, cannot divide because y is equal to 0. Remember, our method for printing to the screen is called println. Sorry, I am unable to divide by a 0. Then tell the user enter a non-zero value next time. Okay, for y. Okay, that is good. There's another part that we actually forgot. Is the part of actually printing to the screen. Okay, I want to copy all of this. Let me do this. Okay, So we want to print the sum to the user. How would we do that? The sum of x and y is sum. Okay, now we print the difference. Instead of the sum, here we're gonna say the difference between x and y is difference. We're printing the difference variable here, and now we're gonna print the product. Sorry guys, not feeling good. So the product of x and y is product. We are printing this product variable here, which is this one. Okay, here also now we need to print the quotient, because we know that here y is not equal to 0. Okay, so System.out.println the quotient of x and y is quotient. Okay, so let me just check. We are at 16 minutes now. So it's now the time to test our program. Okay, let me do that real quickly. I'm just gonna move to the terminal and go to the folder where I saved this program. It's in CD desktop, Relevant Academy in the Java folder. As you can see, we got that calculator.java. So we're just gonna compile this calculator.java as a file. Let's see if we're gonna error. Oh, we've got an error. Why? Because we forgot to put a semicolon after a statement. So telling you line 37, we are expected to put a semicolon here. So line 37 is here. So that is where we forgot semicolon, so it's reporting wrong syntax. Okay, so now let us try again. There we go. We seem to be having more issues. Next in instead of next int. Okay, so let me just fix that. It's next int. Where else do we have issues? So that is really a good thing about Java. It debugs your program for you. It tells you where actually the error is. Okay, great. So now time to test. We have managed to compile. We have a class file in there, so we can basically run our Java program. Let me just enlarge this window so that you guys can see Java calculator. Let us test how our calculator does things. Okay, there, enter the first number. I'm gonna enter 5. Enter the second number. I'm gonna enter 6. The sum of 5 and 6 is 11. The difference of 5 and 6 is between 5 and 6 is -1, which is Q. The product of 5 and 6 is 30. Yes. The quotient is 0. Why? Because Java truncates. We're gonna speak more on this one. Let me just put more values that won't cause any troubles to us and won't introduce more topics to us. If I say 6t and then I say 12, then this is 60 divided by 12 is a 5. If I say the first number is 10 and the second number is 5, we should see the quotient of 2. Let us now put a 0 as a denominator as the second number and see what happens. If I say run Java, they say the first number is 10, I put a 0 here. There it prints for us, sorry, I'm unable to divide by a 0, enter a non-zero value second time. So our program was pretty cool. We have a calculator that really does work, and we consider the fact that we cannot divide by a 0. Now guys, we are running out of time in the video. I wanted to put some comments here while it's in the video so that you can know what we're doing. Nevertheless, I'm gonna put the comments for you. Remember what I told you yesterday in our previous lecture? When you put these 2 before you write in Java, it's comments. The Java compiler do not compile it. It's just notes for the user to read, for you guys or any other of your colleagues who wants to read what your code is doing, or for you actually to remember what you were doing, so you can just write notes about your code, so the compiler just skips this stuff. So I'm gonna put those in the code and then share this code with you in the comment section. Okay, where I share this code, just in the description of this video, I'm gonna share a program that is got comments so that you guys are reminded of what our program is doing. Otherwise, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this session and you learned something. Tomorrow we will continue with our slides and our notes and showing you guys some examples. See you in the next lecture. Bye.